Have you ever had a melody in your head, maybe just a guitar riff or a vocal line, and thought, if only I had the rest of the band here right now, we could really make something of this song? Well, what if you could take that tiny spark of inspiration and instantly surround it with drums, bass, keys, or even a full-blown arrangement without losing control of your sound? Now, that's exactly where Moises AI Studio steps in. And today, I want to show you how it's not just another AI music generator. It's a tool that finally puts you in the driver's seat. Now, it's true, most AI music tools take your input and spit out a finished track with little room for shaping or personality. And that can feel kind of mechanical, like you're just collaborating with a machine that doesn't really listen to your input at all. But Moises AI Studio flips that upside down, and instead of ignoring your creativity, it listens to your idea first. So for instance, you play a guitar part, you sing a vocal line, and then the AI responds by generating stems, drums, bass, keyboards, whatever you need, that actually fit the groove and the context of what you just created. So essentially, this isn't about AI writing a song for you. It's about AI extending your own song in your own voice. Now, there are 5 main ways that Moises AI Studio can generate stems, and each opens up a different creative doorway. So for instance, there is the AI match feature, which allows stems that are generated to follow your performance. Think of it as a bandmate who adapts to you instead of the other way around. Then there are style presets. So if you want your track to lean more funk, rock, lo-fi, or electronic, these presets will give you an instant genre alignment. Now, thirdly, there is the reference audio option, which allows you to drop in a track that maybe you admire, and then the AI studies it to create stems that echo that vibe. There's also a text prompt, which you're probably used to already, and allows you to simply describe what you want. Tight, punchy funk drums or dreamy reverb-soaked pads. The AI interprets your words musically. And fifthly, there is the reference plus prompt. Now, this is the deepest level of control. It allows you to use a reference track and your own description together for results that feel hyper-tailored. Okay, so I've already got an entire video dedicated to this program on my channel already, where I go through the nuts and bolts of the track separation tool, which is what Moises initially started out as. Now, it has morphed into something even bigger. Now, with the addition of AI Studio, we have some really cool stuff that's going on here. And today, that's what we're going to take a look at. So with AI Studio, I do want to make mention that this is in beta, which means all of the bugs have not been worked out, but we are looking at the groundwork that they're laying, sort of the foundation of what the program could become here in the near future. And I'm almost positive when you see this, you're going to be like, my goodness, this is beta. By the way, if you are not following Moises or using any of their products, this would be a great time for you to jump on board. I just got off the phone with some of their representatives not too long ago, and I'm telling you, they have got some stuff that's coming out that's going to blow some minds. What you're going to see today is definitely going to be mind-blowing, but that is going to be like next level stuff, okay? So first things first, this is in beta, just letting you know that. So if there are any hiccups or anything like that, they are working through those actively right now, pursuing bigger and better. Also, you have Voice Studio, which I don't know if you have heard of this yet. This was actually a previous addition to the track separation tool they had, and now they have mastering as well. And mastering is exactly what it says it is. And the lyric writer, which this is an AI assisted lyric writer. It's super cool. If you get stuck on something and you're like, what in the world do I do with this song? I'm stuck on the chorus. I'm stuck on the verse. Don't know where to go next. This is a huge tool. And then they have this plugin section. Stems, as of right now, has been released for DAWs. Voice Studio and mastering will be released at a later date. So let's go back to AI Studio, because that's what this video is officially about. Again, if you want to know all the nuts and bolts of this program, check out the previous video that I will have linked at the end of this video, as well as in a card up in the right-hand corner of your screen right now. Now, I would also make mention of the fact that this guitar track that I'm playing is played just as a DI source. So it doesn't have to be a professionally recorded track for it to pick up on and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I think it would probably be best if I just start with this initial guitar track and show you how quickly it can build the tracks into it. And so I'm going to go ahead and delete everything that's here. All right, now I wanted it to generate a drum track. So I'm going to go over to the side for stem generation. And I'm going to go to select drums here. Now here's the thing. I can either select presets, which are these below, or I can also upload a track as a custom reference audio. So actually, I think it'd be better if I just show you that in action. So if I type in here into the custom section, bongo with ambient feel. Actually, let's make that bongo accompaniment. I'm going to speed the process up that it takes for this to be generated. That's pretty stinking cool. Definitely has that ambient bongo feel. And this was based off of the drums algorithm. Now let's go with something a little bit different. How about ambient pads with swells, if I can spell ambient. And let's generate that off of the other algorithm. Okay, again, this was sped up for time's sake. That sounds pretty stinking cool without the guitar even being added. Almost has like a Pink Floyd type feel. Awesome. Super cool again. So now let's say maybe I want a mandolin part, but I don't own a mandolin. Well, maybe I could take a previously recorded version that maybe I already have, or maybe just take one off of a sample and say, here's what I want you to follow. Upload a mandolin track. In this case, I have one. Okay, so I'm going to say that sounds good. Let's go ahead and add that. And I'm going to go to the guitar algorithm and have it process that off of the guitar algorithm. I'm going to also take away the swell. Very cool, very cool. And this is where I think if I would have left that swell in there, it probably would have, created a completely different mandolin track there. Maybe something that I didn't necessarily want, but that's the cool thing, you can experiment. So let's go with heavy drums in this case, because this is sort of a rockier song. And by the way, they'll be adding to these all the time. So if you're looking for anything over here, you're going to find a bunch of stuff. Like, they've actually updated more since I initially checked this out already. So they're actively involved in doing that. So it's going to use one track to generate that, and that's based off of that. Now we can see that down here. If I was to click on these little sliders right here, this gives me creative control over what it does. So the conditioning strictness is how strongly it will follow the requested conditioning or the preset. The context strictness. So now it's going to look at the context of what it is that you're telling it to generate off of, how strictly to follow your audio context. And then the harmonic strictness, which it's not going to apply with drums, but that is how strictly to follow the chords or the keys of your context. So this is really cool. So I'm going to have it do like a little bit of half and half, giving me a little bit more creative control than just here, AI, do something for me. And then I'm going to hit generate stem. Okay, so now we're going to watch how fast that this generates in real time, which means I'm going to be rambling over the top of this. In fact, what I could do is actually just show you the other options here. So there's the bass option. And as you can see, we've got a bunch of different genres here. We have the guitar option. We've got acoustic strum, funk guitar, rock overdrive, punk, new disco. We even have guitar solo as an option. And then others, violin, strings, lo-fi keys, electric piano. Again, they will be adding to these in the days that do come. And here's the thing with like the AI match. You can generate a guitar track based on the context audio, and it will actually closely listen to what it is and try to match it in AI format. So instead of picking from a genre, it will say, okay, I'm identifying what the genre is. It's an overdriven guitar. Okay, you need overdriven guitars. So it's a really cool way to, it maximizes, in my personal opinion, again, it maximizes the creativity of all of this. So it has generated the drums now. As you'll notice down here, it says using 2 tracks to generate. So with each track that is created, the next track that you create, the AI is going to be looking at those two tracks now. If you don't want it to look at those two tracks, maybe I don't want the drums to be involved. I simply mute them, and now you'll see it's only looking at the guitar track to enable the next one, or to AI match or generate the next one. So maybe I want the drums to be the only one that the bass follows. Then I can do that as well. In this instance, if I'm going to generate bass, then I want it to actually look at the guitar work and the drums. I want them to kind of work cohesively together. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to hit, I'm going to click on heavy. Now I'm doing this even though the drums are already generated, because I want to show you something. So while I'm generating the bass track now, I can actually go back while that is generating and listen to the drums track. Okay, as you can hear, the timing's great. The drums are on time now. They're getting some snare hits just where they're supposed to be. Everything else is coming in where it's supposed to be. Now let's listen to the addition of the bass. That's really cool. So I had not even thought about allowing the bass to follow that chord change there at the very end of the progression. That's really cool. So again, even if you don't use the AI tracks, this could be a really great tool for you to say, well, here's what I kind of want the bass to sound like. And maybe if you can't articulate that because you don't have the musical prowess to know what key you're in, or you don't read sheet music, you're not a bass player. You could say, hand this track to the bass player and say, well, this is a good idea of kind of how I want it to follow the song, but use your creativity. Again, it's huge. Okay, so let's say that maybe I didn't like the way that the bass was being followed right there. I'm going to click and drag over that. I can come up here to these little three dots, and I can regenerate that selection. Now, what that's going to do is it's going to regenerate a separate selection of just the area that I've copied. It's going to put it into sort of like a take lane. If you're familiar with using like Cakewalk, or you're familiar with using maybe Logic, something like that, you'll know if you record multiple takes in these programs, it puts it onto a separate take lane, and then it allows you to kind of like select the best of which takes that you like. In this case, it's going to be super cool because I can regenerate certain sections of the songs where maybe I didn't like what AI did there. I can regenerate that section, and then if I don't like it, it's non-destructible. I can always go back, delete that portion of it. So just to show you kind of what I'm talking about, like in this section here, let's go ahead and solo this. Okay, now the original is right here. And all of that is easily obtainable just by clicking and dragging back. Okay, so let's say that I like these drums, but I'd like to separate them out so that I can then fly them into Cakewalk and change the way that snare hit sounds. Or maybe I want to adjust the kick, the way that sounds. Check this out. I can click on these little three dots here, go to Generate Stems and Create Similar, go to Drums, isolate the drums or no isolation, or even better, I can go in here to Select Stems from Separate Stems. So now I'm going to say this is going to be drums. I want to separate the kick from the snare, the hi-hat, any toms and cymbals. Okay, separate that, and look, I'm now going to have a separated drum track. And this is where that stem separation tool that I spoke of earlier comes in handy within AI Studio, because now I can take the drum track that was already given to me that AI created. I can separate that drum track out, and I can create individual files now for the snare, for the kick, and for the hi-hats. All right, there we go. Super cool. So here is only the kick. And by the way, that kick actually sounds really good. Here's only the snare. So as you can see, there's some parts of that snare that I'm like, I would kind of like to recreate that. So now I can fly that out, put it into Addictive Drums, and set a trigger on that and trigger any snare that I would like to. That's the really cool part about this, is the versatility is just, it's bonkers. So let's go back here to others now, and let's say maybe I want to add an acoustic piano to this. I don't want it to follow the bass though. I don't want it to follow the drums. I just merely want it to follow the guitar. So I'm going to hit generate stem, and it's going to say right here, it's basing this off of one track, which was the guitar track, the only one that is not muted. Okay, so it tells me it's generating the stem now. Great. So now we have a piano track. Let's hear what just the piano and the guitar sound like together. Okay, so that's a little like staccato. It's a little bit, I don't like it. Let me see what happens now if I was to put the bass guitar in with what the guitar is doing and generate that electric piano based off of that. All right, let's give it a listen now. Again, just the guitar and the piano together. See, that's much better. And all it took was just the addition of it, allowing it to hear what the other tracks were doing in reference to that. So let's take a listen all together now. Now that's pretty stinking cool. It did all that just based off of that one track that we got right here. So let's see how far we can take this. I want it to listen to everything and generate some strings based off of what it hears. Okay, and I'm going to solo these out. Ooh, kind of getting a little Beatles vibe there. Very cool. So as you can see, there's crazy amount of stuff that you can do with this, and I'm only touching on just a few of these genre choices. Every time that you select a different choice, you're going to get different sounds. I think honestly, this is like next level. If you want to create a demo and you're only a guitarist, you have no access to a drummer, you have no access to a bassist, you have no access to strings, but you hear it in your head. You can literally be using this in an effort to create a really good sounding demo track, or at least hand it off to some session musicians and say, here's kind of what I would like it to sound like. But obviously, use your creativity. Now, here's something else that I think is super cool. So let's say I want to select a track here and I want to edit this track just in and of itself. You have a stem editor built in right here where it's almost like a more zoomed in approach. Look at this. And maybe what I want to do is this section right here, I just want to silence that section. I can do that. And if at any time I'm like, nah, I didn't like that, there's a little undo button right here. Or maybe I want to cut that section. I can do that. And it immediately kind of like closes the gap there. Or if I want to crop a section. Okay, one more thing. If I want to download any of this, I can do so. I can export it 44.1 all the way up to 192K sample rate. And the format, it's got every format you could want imaginable. WAV, FLAC, MP3, MP, M4A, OGG. You can have this exported as a mix, or you can also have it exported as tracks. So it's multi-dimensional. Let's go ahead and check out another track. And this is one that the acoustic guitar was, instead of using electric DI, this was an acoustic that was recorded here in the studio with an actual mic. And I'm going to make sure to save this, because if you don't save it, all that progress that you just did is lost. So you want to make sure that you save that. All right, so I'm going to got the files here, and I'm going to go to Yamaha right and Yamaha left. It's going to import both of those. Now these have been professionally recorded, so they should sound pretty decent. All right, that sounds pretty stinking good. So I'm going to go back here. We're going to go over to our handy dandy stem generation. Let's get some drums. And for this one, let's go Nashville, because this is more of a country sounding song. We're going to use the 2 tracks to generate and just let it do its thing. All right, it has generated me some Nashville drums. Let's give it a listen. That sounds pretty good. I actually would not have thought about using that style of a drum beat either. On the original song that I've released, that was not the style I used. So that's pretty cool. For this, let's do an upright, because this is, again, a country sounding song. And we're going to go off of just the guitar tracks. How about that? Okay, so now we have us an upright acoustic bass, and I'm really interested to see how this is going to sound. Okay, let's see how far we can take this. Now, let's address the debate. Some argue that AI tools like this cheat the process or replace musicianship, but let's be real. Tools have always helped to shape music in one way, shape, or another. The electric guitar once stirred outrage, and drum machines were dismissed as fake rhythms, and yet both became staples of entire genres. Perhaps the least popular opinion, but the one worth considering, is that AI doesn't remove musicianship, it demands more of it. Because if you don't bring vision, taste, and direction, the results will be generic either way you look at it. But when you do bring those things, AI magnifies what you already bring to the table, and it's utilized as a tool, not something that just takes over. Now, Moises AI Studio isn't the band. It's the rehearsal space where you can build your band in minutes, audition styles instantly, and even refine without any limitations. So here's my challenge to you. Stop waiting for the perfect band situation or the ideal studio and start with what you already have, a riff, a melody, even just a lyrical idea, and let Moises AI Studio help you hear the full picture right now instead of waiting till later. Because the difference between a forgotten idea and a finished song might just be this tool. All right, guys, this has been my brief introduction into the Moises AI Studio. Leave a comment below and let me know exactly how you're going to use Moises AI Studio. Is it going to be for full-blown demos, or is this going to be for more of a sort of idea center that you then hand off to session musicians? I would love to hear about that in the comment section. If you want to stay in tune with tools like this that can help you grow as a musician, consider subscribing to the channel. And remember that we can dream alone, we can even create alone, but together we can achieve so much more.